I mean, that's it for basically the interview stuff.
Sure.
So we did have a handful of Q&A questions that people sent through.
Okay.
Um, who inspires you as a photographer?
Oh, Sales Chong. Sales Chong. He shoots for Hasselblad. He's a big inspiration. I like the way he creates. If there's one person that I would like to aspire to be like, as far as creating your shot in an epic environment using tons of speed flash or light modifiers, speed flashes, strobes, it would be Sales Chong.
Okay.
He also has a crew of 15 people that works for him carrying gear around.
So he's making that workout.
So yeah, I'm gonna be really skinny soon. But I really like him. Joe McNally, I think, is fantastic. I really like his work with Speed Flash. Jason Lanier, as far as Sony shooters go, Jason has a very calming way of explaining things, and the way he thinks his shot process through. I really respect that. Let's see, who else do I really like? I mean, those are Joe McNally and Jason Lanier. I've met in person. And I've attended a couple workshops with them years ago. So I really like their style. But yeah, as far as main photographer goes, it'd be Sales Chong all day. Cool. Muse Chan is another good one. Both of them are Chinese photographers, ironically. So,
For me, actually, I would say you are definitely one of the photographers who inspires me.
No, damn.
Like I can't say enough.
Is your screen always like on like dead low? The battery's not on, and like look
it's
at this.
fading out. It's
pure black.
It's a slight flicker.
Look at the use of rich black in that photo. Follow that guy.
Yep.
I appreciate that. That's incredibly flattering. I've had like a lot of people tell me that what I'm doing. They like watch the work, and I never intended to like set out to do any of that for anybody other than me. So like when people ask you those questions, you sit there and be like, "Are you sure?" You're looking over your shoulder to make sure they're even talking about you, because it's flattering.
Yeah. There's a photographer in Wisconsin, Rusty, Clear One Photography. For a while, he was asking me a bunch of questions. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I'm like, I just gotta end up doing it. Like, I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do,
Yep.
and I kind of just do it. But when he told me that he looks at my stuff I'm like, dude, now you're putting pressure on me.
Right.
Like, and then there's another photographer on Instagram. His tag is 666. The number, or writing out 6, and then it's the number 60, and then 6 again. And he had commented on one of my photos a while ago, a few different photos, and I love his photography. And he's like, "Hey, you're doing an awesome job. Keep it up." I'm like, "You can't do that. That's a lot of pressure. Now I got to make sure that every single photo that I do is right there at that level, if not better. Like, that's a lot of pressure on me."
It is, but the thing is it stops. While it's pressure, it also helps you become more critical and look closer at your work. And now that I know people are looking at my stuff, I can't take something that I would say, "Oh, that's above average." Like, now above average is just crap. It's just not going anywhere. And so here, model, you can have these photos. I hate giving them to you because they're better, but there is pressure. But that's why you shoot.
Yeah.
To
Constantly
get better
improve,
and
yes.
experiment, because if you're a photographer, you want to make mistakes. The only way you're going to learn is to make the mistake and make the mistake yourself, and analyze what it was that you did so that you can come back and correct it.
Yes.
Like, I have an idea for a shoot coming up that I know that I will test shoot it first. I'm sure I'm going to screw up. Maybe I won't. And the bad thing is, if I don't screw up, then I'll have to redo it for no reason. But
Just to make sure.
Right. But I have this theory in my head of what I want to do, and I just actually want to go apply it. And that's how a lot of these shots come out. And you say, well, can we do this differently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's, I don't need that kind of pressure in my life. If you like my stuff, just like my
Pressure's
stuff.
good.
But don't. Especially if like we're chatting in Messenger about something totally different. Don't just pop up and be like, "I love your work. You're doing phenomenal." Especially if you're like another awesome, fantastic photographer. It's like, oh, now I've just got to be super amazing. um, if you could work with one person, I'm assuming they were saying like one person, regardless, dead or alive. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it. Who would it be?
Work with one person, like one photographer.
I have no idea. I just wrote down the question that they asked. I'm assuming like just one person in general.
Or maybe somebody that I haven't worked with.
Could be.
I don't,
That's a weird question. I know.
Wow.
That's a very vague question. They're from Twitter. They follow me.
Oh,
I don't
well,
follow
there
them.
you go. And we're just not on. So it's gonna be that one model at Twitter.
I'm gonna answer this. I want to work with Genghis Khan. I feel like he would be a fantastic model. Actually, no. I want him to be my stylist. I want Genghis Khan to be my stylist.
That'd be wicked. Well, actually, you'd want his wardrobe dresser to be your stylist.
True.
Because he was just wearing it. He
True.
never made it.
He'll be my model, and we'll work with whoever's setting up his.
There you
clothing.
go. There you go. And just throw that Fu Manchu out.
Exactly.
And, but to answer that question, if there was only one person I could work with, I would have to say, like, I don't think that would be right. There are people that I work with a lot, and that I constantly work with, but Caucasian skin, Hispanic, African American skin, they all reflect light differently, and you get in completely different types of looks and feels with your portraits. Working with people of different ethnicities, so to limit yourself and say, well, I'm just going to shoot that one person because they're like me. I think it takes away from learning more too about light, so that the more diverse you can be. And I'm not saying like every day shoot somebody new.
Yeah.
Because that's just ridiculous. But experiment and work with people that are of different ethnic origins than you are, because it's very important to learn how everybody's skin tones react.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. What would be your dream shoot?
Oh, dream shoot.
Ouch.
There's one of two places. It's either New Zealand, or it is Iceland. I've always thought that I would go to Europe and shoot that, and while that would be very cool to do, what I think I could do in light caves with the strobe lighting, as 20% of my support staff dies and freezes on the mountains. But I'm going to go all Gandalf on everybody's ass in New Zealand.
I mean, yeah. And if you did Iceland, just remember that Iceland is green, guys. We're going back to like 6th grade social studies. Iceland is green, Greenland is ice.
Right.
The Vikings were trying to confuse us all.
Yeah, right. No,
They're
but
like,
the
"Screw you
waterfalls in Iceland are, oh my gosh, amazing. Amazing.
I've seen pictures, I've seen videos, and it's like I'd be afraid to go there because I don't want to ruin anything. I don't want to screw anything up. I mean, we're from America, where diesel and fossil fuels and just burn everything to the ground.
Right.
I just don't want to set foot, and then all of a sudden it's the plague. I mean, I'm carrying something on my shoe. There's no denying it. We live in Chicago.
It's just
We're
gonna
carrying
go right.
something
It's
on our
gonna
shoe.
melt and go into the ocean and just end up in Hawaii anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Shouldn't joke.
Again, Final Destination, guys. 2 more days. Morbidly obese. Remember that. How can I find quality individuals to work with? That was someone messaged me on Instagram. I think that one was. How can I find quality individuals to work with?
Was this a model
I
talking about a photographer, or a photographer talking about model?
Believe that they were a model.
So
Let's see if I can find it.
the big thing that I would say, well, and it kind of applies both ways. Popping up out of the blue, which a lot of Instagram models have a tendency to do. You don't see them; they pop into your feed. Hey, I love your work. Let's shoot. Well, who the,
Who the
hell are you? You know, like, oh, hey, thanks for the 2 likes over the past 5 minutes, but it don't work that way.
You're right.
Be supportive. If you're a model and you're looking at a photographer's work, let them know that, you like what they're doing. I'm not saying like bullshit them, obviously, because genuine comments are always the best comments. But I know who's been following me and who's been following for a long time, and I know who really does truly appreciate the work. Those are the people that I'm going to reach out to. When I have some free time and I'm looking to do something, I will go say, hey, you always are leaving and dropping comments and stuff like that, which I always appreciate. And they'll say, I've got some free time on Tuesday or Wednesday. Do you want to do a shoot? And, doing stuff like that I think is big. I don't, there are models that I leave comments on their pages. I watch their work. A lot of them are out of town. I want to go to New York. I have a list of 10 people in New York I want to shoot with. There's a list of, 10 people in California. I want to go back up to Vancouver. There are two fantastic sisters there, P squared. PEA.squared. Check them out. But they came to Chicago last year, and they were here for 3 days. I shot with them, myself and William Oster. We shot with the two sisters 10 hours one day and 11 hours the next. They came to Chicago to shoot with us.
Awesome. That is awesome.
So yeah, just be sincere, be genuine. Obviously, like if you can't even get a start right now because maybe your portfolio of work isn't what it needs to be, if it's a model, it's hard. Like, how do you build that up? But if you're a photographer, find a friend that you're close with and work with them, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like. When you're phrasing your question or posting your work, nobody's expecting you to actually have to post a perfect model, right?
Yeah.
But what you can say is, my friend Bob came with me, and Bob and I today wanted to try harsh lighting, or we wanted to try epic shadows, or we wanted to try Rembrandt lighting. And you say, we successfully did that. If there's a model out there that's interested in this style, contact us, and
Yeah.
And that's one way to do it too, if you don't always have models available to you.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And definitely vetting them, ask around, see if anybody else has worked. Like if there's someone who's a bit more established, who's been working, for a while and who has a variety of individuals in their portfolio, try and reach out to those people, see how the experience was, even just having a quick short conversation with them, like vibing, seeing how things kind of work out, how things kind of mesh together, even when you're just having, just a conversation talking about, what you're wanting to do when you're reaching out to someone.
Well, and to that point, like I tell everybody that, like especially new people that I'm working with for the first time, it didn't matter how established I am. Go on my page, go on the tag section. Yes. Don't even go with what I posted. Go on the shots where I'm tagged in. Contact any one of those models.
Yeah.
And I will tell everybody, go there first, find out if they think it was worth it, get an opinion from them before you even, contact me.
Yeah.
And then if those models that I've worked with, make them feel better about it, then all right, we can talk about working together. But always, always, always check the images that have been put up by the model from a photographer. Yeah. Or if you're a photographer, check out the work that other photographers have tagged that model in.
Yeah. And again, one thing that I like to do, I tell everyone who's ever worked with me, is like, go leave a 100% honest review. Mm-hmm. Like, don't sugarcoat anything. I need to know if there's something that I'm doing that's weird, that's uncomfortable. I mean, I know I'm weird, but anything that's weird, anything that's uncomfortable, it just 100% honest. It's like, it's not going to hurt my feelings. It's just going to help me improve what I'm doing. It's going to help me learn, help me grow. And hopefully, if it was a mistake, if it was something that's, pretty negative, opens up my eyes and makes me realize, that's something that I need to definitely look out for.
It's kind of funny because I've had conversations with several models, conversations with several photographers, and depending on what type of photographer you are, there are questions that, as an established photographer, you're going to ask an established model, and that comes off completely normal. That same question can be asked to a non-model and
it's
seem
totally
completely
or inappropriate.
weird,
Yeah.
right? So, I not to invalidate anything that somebody is feeling, but you have to understand the people that you're working with. A lot of times there are professional questions that we ask models or have conversations with, and it is completely a professional conversation. But
Yeah.
as let's just say a regular person trying to get into it for the first time, you're going to be asked, "Oh, well, if we're doing boudoir, implied, or naked, or this and that, or do you have a good side, or how about your arm has arm hair." I don't know how to easily say that because when you
I've got arm hair.
rim light things, you're like,
Yeah,
ooh.
yeah.
So those are questions that you say, okay, well, make sure if you're coming in to shoot and you do shave your arms, make sure you get every part of it because that will
And
that will
moisturize.
show up.
Moisturize if you're
Yeah,
shaving.
and never shave the day of, the
No.
morning of, always the night before.
So glad you guys don't see can't see my head in high def.
That is the perk, right? Nothing grows. Like, just roll out of bed, we're good. Let's go.
This is exactly why I keep this short, because I look weird
Yeah,
otherwise.
I'm a little bit long right now, at the top, but it's time for a shave.
Um, oh, pricing, I forgot. Well,
Yeah, but boy, I'm the wrong
Right.
person to ask about pricing.
I would say, I mean, it's always good to look to see what other photographers who are similar experience of similar skill level, if they're charging. I mean, kind of, but I don't know. Pricing is weird. Pricing's tough. It's really.
I mean, it's quite honestly, the pricing is individual.
It really is.
Unless you're doing like a group shoot, right? Like earlier today, I was at a First Communion that one of my friends asked me to fill in for him. So I was shooting there. He has a price pack. It is what it is. Which means, well, we're not doing highly creative. Like, I am not shooting the Pope's portrait today at communion. So the images will be properly exposed. They will be color balanced. They will be sharp as a tack. That's kind of what you get, you
Yeah.
know. If you're doing corporate portraitures, I know headshots go anywhere between 200. Well, some people charge as low as $75 or $50, but it depends on what they're doing on the back end. So it's very important to know what you're getting for the
Yeah.
money. And if you're a photographer and you're charging a lot, make sure you explain why you're charging
Yes.
what you are, because people don't understand the difference even in retouching. So yes, we've taken the photo. Yes, we've been on location for the past 2 hours, but there's 20 hours of retouching on your next bank of 50 images
Yeah.
that we're going to have. So that is either included or not.
Yeah.
So there's ways, and again, this is when I talk about like you market yourself. This is where the good marketers figure it out. And they said, well, no, I have a flat fee of $75 asterisk, and then every image that you pick is you're paying a $50.
Are we back? And I think we're coming back. Yep. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Doesn't help being like so near the power lines outside. That's
Could be.
actually what caused me to lose my hair. It wasn't anything other than the radioactive.
I just went bald. I just started losing everything. Yeah, pricing is very individual. Pricing is it's very personal to you. Like where you value at your, the time that you're out there shooting, incorporating maintenance on your gear. If you insurance on your gear, everything. Like you've got to take everything into consideration. If you've got, if I've got a little electric car, I'm not going to be charging for gas. Like, I got to refigure that as far as
But you have the tire. You have the wear and tear on the car, the motor vehicle.
Yep.
Tolls are always a great one.
God, tolls.
Nowadays, like you can go 5 miles and get whacked with $11 in tolls.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one way.
Elgin O'Hare.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pricing's very, very, very individual. So it's like, so when you approach a photographer or a model, hairstylist, makeup artist, whatever it may be, when you approach them, you can't base their price, you can't base their services off of someone else's. You can shop around, especially if you like if you've got a group of photographers, if you got like three or four photographers, you really like their work. Their work is very similar to what you're looking for. You can't turn around and be like, "Oh, you're too expensive." Well, this person's going to do it for the okay. All of our charges are different. I've got a Nissan Altima. Some other dude may have a Chevy Tahoe. He uses more gas than I do, so my rates may be a little bit lower than the dude with the Chevy Tahoe. I'm running crop sensor Canon. He might be using a full sensor Sony or full frame Sony. So it's like it's very personal. It's very individual to who it is. You can't base one person's rates off of another unless they're doing the exact same thing. They have the exact same gear. They have the exact same time restraints and time schedule. Like they have to be the most identical person in the world aside from their name and maybe what they look like.
Yeah, I guess I would say like the question would be, all right, the images that I take, how unique are they on a scale of 1 to 10? If I am constantly putting out unique images that are coming in at 9s and 10s, I'm going to gravitate my pricing to something. If somebody says I want that epic shot, then I know I've got to deliver a 10.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, First Communion, everybody's going to walk up here now. That's just machine gun shooting.
Yeah.
Or a wedding is a little bit different. You've got your hero pictures for a wedding, and then you've got the reception photos, which nobody ever posts reception photos because, God, why would we? But I've done weddings where I've actually set the strobes up. I'd get there hours ahead of time, and I've set strobes up at the reception, and I would go around every corner of that room, and it'd be perfectly lit. So, does it what kind of factor is that reception photography if you're hiring a wedding photographer?
Yeah.
So again, there's no set answer.
No, not at all. And someone tells you otherwise, they're delusional.
I would agree with that. Flat out agree. That is the most true thing we have said today, other than Adobe.
Yes, Adobe and Instagram being weird and and then the last Q&A question was, what is the most rewarding thing to come from your work?
The friendships. The friendships. That is the most rewarding thing. I mean, like, I've got stories that I can tell. I've posted stories on Instagram. We've gone live before with models. Those stories are super key. I'm going to look back on these photos 20 years from now. The models being much younger than me will be looking back on it for 40 years. Hopefully they remember that story of what happened, how it happened, why a shot was taken. Matter of fact, like, some of my favorite work is work that's not even printed. I have a folder that is in there from, like, somebody laughing about a joke that we made, and I say, oh man, I remember that, and she was laughing because of this.
Yeah.
Or most of the time it's because some shit fell out of the ceiling and hit me on the head, and I'm buckled over. I mean, I have injured myself so many times in this office. I've actually ripped muscles out of my legs. I'm missing an entire, I don't know what muscle that is, but 2 years ago I took a step back off the step stool and it tore the muscle right off, and I thought I could walk through it. Didn't realize that it actually tore off the bone.
Oh my God.
And so by the time I went to go see the doctor, he's like, well, it's too late. We can't do anything. That thing shrivels up in a ball now. I go, okay. Well, there go my days of being a leg model. At least the right leg. But
he's always got the left leg, guys.
Yeah, but
so our boudoir shoot that we're gonna do, it's gonna be nothing but left leg.
But yeah, that's the thing that I take away the most. It's the people that you meet. Talking about maybe even on the same shoot together. One guy's off on another corner and doing something. We like to get together after we do some of our group shoots, and we all kind of hang out and get a beer or a burger or pizza or something. I'm trying to download the images really quick, and so that's what I remember, and I think that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. It's the friendships. One of the friendships and the stories. Seriously, I can't tell you how many times we try and set, especially if it's like a client or something like that. We try and set it's like, okay, we've got an hour to shoot. It never stays an hour.
No.
Never stays an hour. There's at least half an hour of just cracking up and joking and giggling, and it might be an actual hour of work.
Well, and you know
But
what?
it's like it's there's just so much more that goes on, and it's conversation. It's
And that I think is key because, especially if you don't know somebody, you have to get and quickly gauge their personality. And you want to try, that's one thing I try and do with the portraits. I try and bring out elements of their personality into the portrait.
Yeah.
And, if everybody just showed up and never exchanged words with each other, unless you were shooting mimes, it's going to be an expressionless shoot.
yeah, yeah, but yeah. So friendships, conversation, and the stories that create those memories, like those are definitely the most rewarding part from the work.
Because it's not going into your wallet, pulling out your credit card to buy stuff.
No, no. I do enjoy buying new gear, but a slightly less rewarding thing is when you get hired for a shoot, hired for a paid shoot. That's second most rewarding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the fun that we have. Who's really in this for the money?
Oh, it's several people.
Yeah. These are shameless plugs, guys. You can get referrals. We always just accept referrals. We will talk to the people who you refer to us. And that could create a story on its own. Hey, I heard this person had a great, fantastic, fun time with you. And, you guys joked, you guys laughed. They made you feel super comfortable. Can I hire you to do my wedding? Can I hire you to do my family portraits? I think my kids would love that you look like a total buffoon. Like,
Oh, there is something to be said for that. You don't have to be the world's best photographer. You can be technically proficient and know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Maybe not, a master of the craft. But if you have a good personality and you can work with people, you're going to get better photos that the client will like more than that expert photographer,
Yeah.
that master photographer is that has zero personality.
yes, because it's natural. They feel comfortable. They're there, and they're in the moment rather than in their head.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because the second somebody starts thinking, you say, "Well, give
Is
me
my
a half
face
smile.
round?"
Give
Yeah.
me a little bit more," and now all of a sudden it looks like I just froze your face.
Yeah.
So it's just completely not natural.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that was it for the Q&A questions.
Yeah. So how about yourself? What are your big plans this summer? Any big shoots?
Nothing right now. I actually just got some amazing news, which kind of ties up my schedule a little bit. Don't want to announce it here on YouTube before I announce it to a few more key individual folks. But got some news, so that kind of tightens up my schedule a little bit more so during the week. But nothing right now, unfortunately. I've got an amazing concept shoot with amazing people on next week, Saturday, which I'm super pumped about. And like it totally, my first big idea and slightly larger scale production, just because I've made 4 props for it, 3 props for it.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Props
stag-
are always fun.
Yeah.
Expensive as hell, though. Jeez.
A total of $60.
Oh, I
I
made
made-
my first headpiece I made. It took to Ohio $285.
God, no, mine. My wife helped me make a crown. I made a cape, stitched by hand because I don't have a sewing machine, which sucks when you're stitching 6 feet of cape.
Could have bedazzled it.
I should have bedazzled it. And I made a working. It's not perfectly balanced, but I made a working, like hand scale, like the hand, like the.
Oh, nice.
like,
Yeah.
Lady Justice.
Yep.
Made it working. You put something on one, tips the scale, and it's really cool. So it's like, I'm really pumped, really excited for that.
Nice.
And then I've got my friend who does special effects makeup. He's gonna be doing the makeup for 3 of the 4 models.
Oh, there you go.
We'll be shooting at Chicago Cultural Center. So if you guys want to come out and just hang out and do behind the scenes and chat with us, we'll be at the Chicago Cultural Center.
Or act as security to keep the actual
Yes.
security away.
Yes, just go cause a ruckus.
Exactly.
At one
Diversion.
end, where to avoid us completely. Yeah, that's really it. Anything for you?
And something always comes up. I will be at some point. We're going to do a blowout event for everybody to come to. I'm going to have as many of the models that I work with regularly out there. We're going to do a kind of a, I don't want to call it a junkyard, but a more urban setting. I actually did a shoot at the location a couple of times. I've shot Corvettes there. I've done a Halloween shoot there, and we just recently did a fashion shoot there. But the property's so big that in an 8-hour day, I don't have enough time to cover it all.
Nice.
But going to throw an event over there where we bring all the photographers in, bring all the models in, and do a group shoot, and to the point where everybody can get something unique. You know,
Nice.
we'll be around to answer questions. If you're a natural light shooter, hey, great. If you're a strobist, bring your strobes. But people will be there to answer questions, not,
Very cool.
hey, we're going to set this up, you go stand here, pull the trigger, and there's your shot. So,
Very cool.
so we'll definitely let you know.
Yeah,
when that
yeah,
is.
yeah, definitely. Like I said, guys, go follow this guy. I'll get the other tags that he had mentioned. I'll get those into the description a little bit later today. Taking my mom out for Mother's Day. Don't forget to say I love you to Mom. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting here with you and chatting.
Anytime.
And again, thank you for being my test dummy on this.
Oh.
We had a couple. I apologize for the YouTube disconnections. IG peeps. We'll post this video. 32 minutes, 22
So
minutes.
you're going to have to break it into 4 videos.
Yeah, probably.
On the IGTV.
That's gonna be fun. We'll get back with you guys.
Actually, it won't be that bad because you've got, you just cut it right in the Android and then export that out at 9 minutes each.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
gonna be able
And
to
then
put all
just
4
keep
of them
going.
and throw it right into IGTV.
True. Yeah. So
That was a new one I learned.
well, I've got to get it off this one to get it onto this one because this phone sucks.
Gotcha.
It's a glorified mini
yeah,
tiny
I have
tablet.
that one too.
Yeah. But thanks for joining us. The 4 people who watched us on YouTube. Again, I've got like 29 followers or 29 subscribers.
Could have been more because we lost connections. Twice.
True.
That number, actually, there were 5,923 people that
There
watched
was.
the videos, so thank you.
We had 72 trillion just watching this single live.
They were all over it.
Just
And
it
plus,
was nuts.
it's delayed. We may even have more than that.
True. And I mean, multiple accounts, because I don't know how many people are in the world. I can't count that high.
And we didn't even stream to Twitter.
Exactly. Oh, God, Twitter. If only Twitter had a live. Thanks for watching, guys. Be on the lookout. Like I said, I will update the description with even more tags and even more information. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to Ed. Definitely feel free to reach out to me. Hit us up. Pick our brains. He knows a lot more than I do. I can guarantee that. I'm just a pretty face behind the camera who prefers to stay behind the camera because the face isn't pretty enough.
I'm not getting out in front of the camera either. So.
We got to do that do our shoot.
Eventually we're going to do an all photographer shoot for all of us to get our headshots and not all feel weird.
The weird part's not going to be guaranteed.
Well,
But
nobody else has to see.
if anybody's got a fundraiser, Ed said he would do the boudoir for like a fundraiser for like a kidney transplant or something. So if anybody needs a new kidney,
It may get you $25 towards.
probably. But that's $25 closer to your goal. But yes, again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks to Ed for
Absolutely.
having me here in this is his studio, by the way. And yeah, keep an eye out for any future interviews. Once we get another bigger following and have more people submitting Q&As, I would absolutely love to have Ed again. And yeah,
I'd be happy to.
we'll talk.
Happy
We'll
to.
have
Always.
fun. We'll joke around, enjoy, and so everybody have a great weekend. And thanks for watching. Adios.
That's awesome.